Hi everybody, Leslie Moldenauer of Lifeholistically.com. Today I'm going to talk about a multifaceted topic that I talk about with my aromatherapy friends often, and that is what aromatherapy is and what aromatherapy is not, with a couple things mixed in. So what is aromatherapy? It's unique. It's not one size fits all. It's not black and white. It's not always or never. And my favorite is there's an essential oil for that. What works for me may not work for you. What's safe for me may not be safe for you. What I like, you may not like. Those are just a few examples as to why aromatherapy is unique. You can find restrictions online from internet bloggers and on Facebook, in Facebook groups, and Pinterest and other areas. That's much like a telephone game where scientific fact is often misunderstood or misconstrued. Now, if you've ever played the telephone game when you were little, right? What I tell you in your ear is going to be totally different from what gets 10 people down the line whispered in theirs, right? So aromatherapy is often like that as well. So why is being over-conservative just as bad as being carefree? And I'm going to give just a couple brief examples of what we often see, and I'm going to use Facebook as the example, what we often see that's taken out of context where scientific fact is misconstrued, much like that telephone game. And the first example is going to be with eucalyptus essential oil for children. Okay, you're going to see all over the place. You should never use eucalyptus essential oil on children or any oil high in 1,8-cineol. That's kind of not factual. If you were to read that section of eucalyptus all in itself in Robert Tisserand's Essential Oil Safety book that was published in 2014, you would see that the recommendation is to not put the essential oil of eucalyptus or any oil that's really high in 1,8-cineol on or near the face of a child under 10 years of age. And if you were to take a step farther and look at the research that backs that up, you would see that in many of those instances, eucalyptus essential oil is actually instilled in the nose of these children, okay? And it definitely caused issues. So his recommendation is to keep those oils away from the face, okay? Nowhere there does he say never do it, but that's what you see online and on the internet. So that's a problem. That's my first example. The second example would be never take essential oils internally, okay? And sometimes it actually goes to the point of instilling fear around it. Now, I do want to say that you need to be trained in it. I'm one of 15 people currently in the United States that's trained in aromatic medicine with Mark Webb out of Australia. We know the proper way, we know the safe way, we know the times to do it and why. We know a lot about the body, okay? We're not saying put drops of essential oil in your water and drink it. You will never hear us say that, okay? Online and in social media, I think it's important for aromatherapists that have not been trained in this modality to say just that. We haven't been trained in that modality. So for the essential oil enthusiast or the essential oil home user, you shouldn't be using essential oils in this way unless you're trained or you reach out or are working with somebody who is trained, okay? Going straight out and saying, you should never do that, that's not accurate and that's not helping the industry, or I hate to say the industry, that's not helping the modality of aromatherapy. And the third example would be always dilute your essential oils. Now, I do want to say that most adverse reactions to essential oils are skin irritations when applied to the skin inappropriately, okay? When we don't know better, when we don't know which essential oils are higher risk, when we don't know which oils are on the safe side to do so, and in what instance, and why, and that requires training. So rather than saying you should never use essential oils neat, you should say we don't recommend it for anyone that's not trained and then they don't know how to do it. That would be the proper way to take that. So as an aromatherapist with 200 hours of education, you're not learning in internal use. You're not in all instances learning when it's okay to use undiluted. So in those cases, it would be okay to say, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not educated in that. That would be the proper way to handle it rather than instilling fear, because you're being overly conservative, and that's just as damaging as being carefree, right? For the circles that say you can always take essential oils internally. All of essential oils are safe as long as they're pure, right? Just as damaging. It's not okay to be rigid in something you don't know. So it's important to educate yourself and get the experience and practice. It's okay for everybody to work from their area of education and knowledge and experience and comfort level, and those are all important. But it's not okay to put blanket statements out there that aren't factual. Now, I want to say the next point being, Facebook is not the place to go to for an aromatherapy education or a consult. Yes, you can go to Facebook groups for basic information for home use. If you're an essential oil enthusiast who have never used essential oils before, there's a lot of good information out there. But there's equally enough information out there that's not accurate in just those few examples that I covered, but there are plenty others. You need to do your research behind this. Now, this is an issue with salesmen that have used there's an essential oil for that for years. I do want to say that there are some that have gone beyond the education that they've gotten from their companies, right? And I honor you and I respect you for looking for that proper information, but it's not all that common for those to go beyond that education. So it's important for you, if you're going to use essential oils, to look for the proper information or to speak to an aromatherapist, a qualified aromatherapist. Very important. As an aromatherapist that has 200 hours of education, or 300, or 400, or 500, it's just as important in your own practice, if you have one, to know what it is that you can and can't say, just as much as on Facebook as anything you write. You're not supposed to diagnose, treat, or prescribe. You're not supposed to say, there's an essential oil for that. And if I have 5 people standing in front of me that have migraine issues, I'm not going to give the same oil to everybody. That's just not the way aromatherapy works. It's good practice to come into Facebook and help people with safety, right? My main goal, and I know the main goal of many of my friends that are aromatherapists, work to keep people safe, right? But I'm not out there giving aromatherapy consults. It's not the time nor the place. And aromatherapists need to help to lift up their profession, right? To expect more of each other and to do what's right. And it's not always being done that way. So those are my points that I want to make today. I tried to keep the video as short as I could. I could have probably gone on and on about this, but I think it's important to speak the facts and to learn how to properly state what you're trying to say and staying politically correct, I guess, to try and practice the way you should, whether it's in front of one person or in front of 50 people or on Facebook where a bunch of people are listening to what you say. So that's all for today, everybody. Thanks for listening. Until next time.